I said perfect balance TrodClass. I don't know, see, I talk to the living for this represents. Good over evil, me tell them, see a life over death.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Perfect Balance TrodClass, a place where conscious minded and like minded individuals are guided towards the full potential through collective reasoning. Today, we have Okavango, the Rebel Guru. We have Brother Bingi.
Greetings.
I'm yours truly, Ras Dada, and a very important member of the TrodClass, Brother Yaga, aka Teacher Ma'at, is dealing with some family situations at the moment, so he's kind of unavailable. But our thoughts and love goes out to him in this moment, and we really want to make sure that everything goes well and smoothly. But as we know, the mission still have to continue. The mission still have to go forward. So even though we might go through moments where things aren't ideal, we still have to push through that thing and know so we are go through for the greater good, and that's what we are dealing with in this motion and mission. So all the item.
Yeah, I give thanks, man. No, so the work continue.
Naturally,
You know,
naturally, let's see it.
and you're gonna do but still have it.
And him, I yet still him still there.
And him
Yeah.
still there.
Yeah,
Still,
Yeah.
still there. You
same
see
way,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, man, I saw it come down, man,
Yeah,
naturally. You see it, a great energy see him, being it.
All right, so it go.
Yeah, I did.
Naturally.
No, day by day,
Yes, sir.
I give
Same
thanks
here.
for life.
Continually.
Continually. Yes,
Continually.
sir.
Yes, sir. I give thanks for that great energy. It's a very sticky situation we find ourselves in at the moment. Things kind of seem like they're up in the air, like everybody's wondering what's gonna happen next. So we thought it would be a good opportunity for really have a reason. Because we touched on these things
Daily.
on a couple of
Yeah.
reasonings.
Oh, yeah,
So
okay, yeah, man, for real. Yeah, yeah.
know that the thing manifests. So I think it's good that we can touch on it again and see what our views are and how accurate the predictions were, and anything that we think affected it. And what we're talking about, is the recently concluded U.S. presidential elections, where Donald Trump was successful in his campaign. Kamala Harris didn't make it. And we just want to touch it now and see what's our take on all of this, what's going on, and how does it affect African people? You know what I'm saying? So let me just open it up to the item to see what the item think. First of all, are we happy with the result?
For me, it's neither here nor there.
It's neither here nor there.
I never have a ass in the race to be happy. I sad.
What about the
I'm
idea?
sad. But hey, there are the black people who mad now, I know people who mad as hell now. The people like they didn't have a good day. And Tuesday,
It was
man,
bad.
people weren't having a good day, man. And some people were happy. It was both, but I didn't have a ass in the race, so yeah.
No matter. What about the idea?
Yeah, even though people are upset, I think we lose because I have no indifferent feeling to what happened. I don't really see how Democratic or Republic really makes a difference when you live in a system like this, right? Where you're under this illusion you living in this democratic society. And I think that's the disconnect. People shouldn't really be surprised about how the election go or really be upset, because in truth, you really don't have no real big say in all of this, literally,
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if one party is better for the other because my situation not changing, so not in that sense then, right? And when I say my situation, I'm not talking about on an individual level. I'm talking about globally or communal wise. I don't see. So for me, yeah, election is the election.
Yes,
I
sir.
know what that are. I'm gonna change my statement I made a while ago. So, I'm not here nor there.
No. Hold on. You're gonna make an amendment.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Because you asked if I was happy. And I
Mhm.
said I was not here nor there, but I'm gonna
Right.
change it and say I am happy.
Right.
Because reason why these are things that we've been talking about. We've been talking about what America is, what America represents, what America, you know what I mean, and people, you know what I mean, was, you know, they stand up and like they not believe what we are saying, them not sick. They're not seeing what we are seeing.
Saying,
But this is a manifestation of what America really is, the wider America.
why
Because
is
sometimes,
that so?
because the polls, Donald Trump represent a certain things. He say what he represent, and people, America went out and overwhelmingly vote for him. Majority of America said, this is what we are about. This is our guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
This is our
Right.
guy.
Yeah.
So America, people are upset, but this is America showing its face and say, okay,
It's
this is
true,
what we are
it's true
about.
colors.
Yeah, this is what we are about. So especially black people will open up them eyes. As he said, this is what America is about. There's no two way about it. When it comes down to the nitty-gritty, when it comes down to, you know what I mean, who is who and what is what, this is what America is. So you can, you know what I mean, listen to your media, because the media was saying something different, you know, like they're going to reject him and because he said this and him call country shit hole and him call, you know what I mean? But guess what? Yeah, man, this is what America think, man. They think just like him. The majority of people in America think just like him, and they believe the thing that he's saying is right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we've been saying those things a long time ago about the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people upset like that, them can't believe. You better believe this is what you're living in. Yeah, man, and this is it. This is it, man.
The,
Yeah,
the,
for sure.
the thing to me, right, is to see that it's such a point that it's gotten to such a point where you have a president, previous president, right, that was impeached, right, as a result of um non-performance or doing things that was against the job description then. So then he was impeached, right? And yet still you can take that person who's shown you what they stand for, who's shown you their position clearly, and they haven't made any effort to change their position or to come out and say, listen, I've made it, just like you make an amendment earlier, right? He has not done anything of that sort to say, listen, I'm a different person or I'm born again, right? None of that. And yet still they put him back in the same office with the same powers. So what I want to know is, are they expecting something different this time around?
No.
But I will say these are things we have been identifying, right? But if we take it on a deeper level, it just shows you how a disillusion and immature society works, though, right? And it works in favor of those in control all the time. So
Yeah.
this is the end result of this. I think the election went as planned.
Mm-hmm.
It went as
You
planned.
use a keyword there, planned.
Yeah, as planned, for sure, because America is in no way ready to give up no authority to no black woman, for sure, right? We know that. They had a white woman who won the popular vote and still lost the election. Think about what we're talking about, right? We see how democracy is no longer in place based on who they want to be the president, right? Because if your vote don't count, you voted and you say, hey, we the people, we want this woman. And they still turn around and say, well, now, we decided now. The
Right.
final decision is still on the electoral college. So it shows you a system, but that is not democratic in its very makeup. Nor does the Constitution talk about democracy either, right? And I think these are the things we have to consider, like, hey, what kind of state are we really living in? Like, examine the country you live in, the system of government, how your vote, your so-called vote, were you crying about, or you're upset you didn't win, or somebody had to lose in a race. So somebody had to lose, right? In that sense, this type of system, somebody have to you lose, right? Although the Africans, them, Ubuntu, they run together, right? So it's a whole different thing, right? But somebody must lose. But the system, I think people should sit back and examine the system itself, how it functions, The
Yeah, man.
function
That,
of government in this country.
You have
is
a
that
question,
sir?
Dada. You have a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you ask why them choose him again after him just so much things were supposed to be wrong. But I think is when them put him in the first time, right? They put him in the first time. They take him out the second time because of what they did the first time. But then when they take him out of the way, they look and say like, okay, we make a mistake. Let's get him back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, let's get him back because that's what they do.
What was the mistake? Biden?
Biden was a mistake. Biden was a mistake. So let's get back our guy.
Yeah, that is how
You know
we
that?
can take this. Say, but
Yeah, man, Biden was a mistake.
you know.
You know,
Yeah.
when you look at the whole thing, right? The system, as Bingia make reference to, right? We have a country, and the people who are in the position that run for leadership should really have a desire to see the best interest of the country, of the nation, right? This is how we would imagine and hope, right? Now you have two people representing two political parties, two political viewpoints that are running for this position of leadership. One wins, one loses, right? One wins, one loses. Now, if the one that loses, if their goal is really to see the best interest of the country, how I would like to see the system function is that these people work together, as Bingi said, in terms of viewpoints, ideas, and strategies to make the thing work. You understand? But it's so polarized that once them run against each other, because they make it like almost like it's a fight, like it's a beef, like when one person drop a this song and then the other artist drop a this song, and this is what it seemed like. Instead of, and then when you look at it, they're doing this stuff with the livelihood of people. Like people's lives are gonna literally be changed as a result of whichever one wins. You know what I say? Eh? Say again?
Can be changed.
Yeah, man. None of them will be changed because some of
Right.
them, because it's so polarized, my lord. You understand what I say? It's so polarized. Like them deal with the thing so personal that they don't deal with it like, this is something for everybody. Them deal with it like, oh, this is me and this is our thing, and that's it. You understand? And these things, I think that at some point we have to change how this works because, all right, for example, let's look on an issue. Let's say education, right? The Republicans have certain views on education. The Democrats have certain views on education. Both of the views have pros and cons. But because one idea or position was presented by the other opposing party, the other one just automatically rejects it. You understand? And I think that is not beneficial.
Why, Dada?
Mm.
Yeah, he goes one word out. No way. I don't. A couple times I say we a while ago, but I don't think it's we. No, I don't think it's we.
It's
It's
them.
them.
It's
It's them.
them.
It's not we. Because I and them no, it's not the same thing.
Let's
So
see 'em,
it's not no
let's see.
we, and this is not no, it's not no black man country. So it's them. And I mean, so it's not no we. They're not doing nothing for we either. Over here, so they do it for them. So
Naturally.
them do what they do for them, right?
But
What do you
but
think?
isn't it funny, right? Like I and I could sit down here and discuss this in a logical manner, right? But yet you have people who will look at the same thing. They seen the same thing, right? But the observation of it is different, right? Only because there's a bias, right? And you see that. So this is what this election shows, right? That bias, right? No matter what, we're gonna make sure this man go into office, right? But it's a
Naturally.
prejudice, a bias, I guess, racism. It's all of the above, who they sure they're not gonna have in office. So, but we owe it to ourselves to examine the type of systems that we live in and understand how they actually function. And the
Right.
reason why is, in the meantime, instead of us being upset, let's figure out ways to form collectives where we now could empower each other. That's what we have to figure out, how to work in these systems that are here. because these systems are not clearly not designed with you in mind. No, don't remember, these are oligarchy systems. These are systems was based on money. There's something called money. You is an asset in this system, literally.
That's right.
You're an asset. You come here, you're born,
Yeah.
you work, you do what you have to do towards the system.
Yeah,
So,
make
hey,
sure
how
it's
do we
function.
alleviate that on ourselves if we understand that basic concept of how this system works? Hey, we got to figure out now how we circumvent this, even being within this functioning, but how do we circumvent it and not on an individual level? Hey, man and man individually can go out there and do enough things for themselves, right? Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about collectivity.
There's
We're
more.
talking about
There's more oomph.
unity.
There's
There's
more
more to it.
There's
There's
more
more
oomph.
to it.
There's more
Yeah,
oomph
man.
when we have that collective, you know?
Yes,
sir,
I.
which is right. So is this the outcome that we expected?
Yeah.
Yes.
For me, yes. And I see a narrative going around where people, I will know I saw it always go where them want to blame black people for Kamala losing the election. And we want to get some numbers. We get numbers by race. So by race, 41% of white people voted for Democrat and 57% white people voted for Republican. Black people, 85% voted for Democrat, 13% voted for Republican. And it goes down. Latino is 52% for Democrat, 46% for Republican. Asian American, 54% voted for Democrat, 39% voted for Republican. So black people overwhelmingly voted for Democrat. 13%. So even if the 13%
had voted
he was
Democrat,
100%,
vote Democrat, they still lose. Because if you look on Obama, right? The thing with Obama was that he had garnered support from all the classes. You understand? He had Latino support, he had white support, he had black support. So he had support from all of these different racial
demographics.
So So I think Kamala, if she had like garnered that type, but then again she got in the race late too. But she did have two strikes against her. You know,
what was it? Two strikes.
She's black, and she's a woman.
Yeah.
So America isn't really ready for a woman leader. And they showed that with Hillary. And they've showed it overwhelmingly now with Kamala. They're still not ready for a woman leader. Yes,
so both Trump wins against women.
It's against women, yes.
Both
one
women
against
is
Hillary
one
and
loss
one against Kamala.
is against man.
Man.
So that shows that America is not with no woman thing.
And
It's not even just black. It's not even just black woman.
Black woman,
Yeah,
no.
But they
woman,
really
no.
don't want the black woman because Hillary win the popular vote.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, more they don't want the black woman. Says that,
Right.
yeah. No
You're
black
ready
woman,
for
no
that.
woman.
We are immature society. So I think if we look at immature societies, right, America is an adolescent, you know. Just through her behavior, imagine a man could be a criminal or be convicted. You cannot vote, but you can run for the highest office in the land. To show you her criminal mentality. But not only that, she flaunts it in front of your face.
So do something about it.
This is who we are. So,
Yeah, man, do
if they're
something about it.
showing you who they are, then why would you expect something different? They're telling you, hey, this is it. This is what we represent. So
It's what we stand for.
Yeah, this is what we stand for. So that's why we know we are. If we know we against that, right? We against the brainwashing or the programming of people to stay in a state of disillusion. Then we must say, hey, let's disseminate information to make people think. You go out there, examine what we are speaking about. That is on you.
Right.
We're not just talking. We giving you actual solutions to the problem we have.
Person, yeah.
So another thing going around, the medical question. Trump is supposedly going to do mass deportation, and even who have their citizenship will get
Will be
deported.
deported.
What do you think about that?
Nonsense. That's nonsense. You really think any government in the world, not even only America, they're gonna have this mass deportation of people, bro? It is impossible.
Which part?
First
Which
of
part is
all, it is
nonsense, Binky? Which part
impossible
is
because
nonsense?
yeah, it's nonsense. Not only that, monetarily, just on a
That can't be with it.
monetary basis,
That
brother,
can't be
where you even getting funding
to do that.
even implement that routes. So
But
them thing is what they call scare tactics routes. Fear. They put fear in the people. That again, that is the action of immaturity. And then people now, they will go in uproar after they start saying, hey, well, this gonna happen, that gonna happen, they start spreading all this rumor.
yeah,
Them thing
but
is fear tactics.
the next thing too is this rhetoric was around on his first term as well. Like when he came in on his first term, it was like, oh, we're gonna
And what
get rid of
happened?
the immigrants. Nothing. So
Exactly.
it's just these are just America, right? Runs on certain principles or themes, right? Um, and as a result of that, you have Messiah,
Right. What?
yeah. Immigration is one of the key things. And if you want to garner support, you have to express the popular position on immigration in order to win. So Trump did that and he win both times.
Yeah. But Dada
Yes, I.
and Bingy say as Bingy say, and I mean it can't work. But guess what? And that's scare tactics, right? But guess what? Obviously it didn't scare the people. Obviously it didn't scare the people. That didn't scare the people. You know what I mean?
They didn't
Because
scare who? They didn't scare the voters
they didn't scare the voters.
because the
None of the
voters
voters will be
legal. So
scared.
them
None
think
of the
they put
voters
But
are scared.
one of the narrative out there now was that evil people that have the residency was gonna get deported. Right?
yeah, like
But
just
against the voters, and a lot of the voters are immigrants,
and I agree.
agree that people should get deported
Yeah.
back home.
Yeah.
But I think is a reason why that is impossible.
Your workforce.
I'm not talking about not the one that people with residency or people with citizenship want to get deported. That is madness. That would never happen. That is
Never.
total madness to even
That's
mention
madness.
something like that.
Right.
But it's also madness thinking that he will deport even undocumented. I'm talking undocumented, illegal. If you get rid of every illegal people in America,
The system
it's
crash.
it's crash.
The system
Yeah.
crash.
The system crash. The amount of people here working and doing some necessary jobs, doing some job where some other people, see people with residency, not doing. It's needed. They can't get rid of them.
No, that's just fear tactics, side.
Who's gonna do that job?
That's fear tactics. And not only that, no. Think about how we just think about immigration. Think about how psychological this is, right? When we say immigration, we thinking about black and black people, right? We talking about
Yes, sir.
minorities, right?
Minorities, yeah,
But
man.
they are Europeans in America. There are a ton of Europeans who are here illegally, and I have the pleasure of meeting a lot of them active, and they're never in the play when we talk about deportation, you know.
No.
When we talking about deportation, think about how
Yes, sir.
psychological this is. We're
It
not
is.
even
Yes,
thinking
sir.
about this European
Yeah.
population that
really?
live illegally, you know.
They get it from all over.
Yo, yes, I.
Yeah, but we talk about it about Asian and Jamaican.
Oh gosh.
Our people from Central America.
The grounds for deportation gonna be that they're eating dogs and cats.
Right.
Right.
And ducks.
That's gonna
The
be the
geese,
ground.
too, the geese. Don't forget the geese.
Oh my days. You know, it's sad that, the rhetoric is still the same. It doesn't change. It hasn't changed. Every time we get to this point, We have an election, it's the same thing and the same issues. But the sad part about it is that the outcome is always the same. There's no change in the outcome because ultimately the wheels of power put the people in place who they desire to be in place and who are going to function according to what they want. And that's what it is. And that's what's happening. So, you know, we're just going to have to watch and see. I don't see any changes as it relates to African people and their experiences and
Yeah, but
their
Dada, what we
position.
really think this mean? What do you think it mean for African people?
I think it means that African people have to realize that they are not as influential as they think they are in the greater scheme of things, and they're not as important in terms of, we are going to make decisions as the effects of these people with that in mind. And they have to realize that and understand that we have to now organize ourselves towards putting ourselves in the positions that we view ourselves in. We have to organize ourselves so that we actually get into those positions. Because if we're not organized, we will never hold those positions.
And not only that, right? I think this whole thing is gonna affect us even on a grassroots level, right? Because remember, laws are constantly being implemented and changed. There are certain civil rights that you're losing on a daily basis, right?
So,
Remember, you live in a country now where you really don't have the equal opportunity for higher education anymore, right? That doesn't exist anymore, right?
okay.
Even for hiring coders. So daily, what's happening? You see that you are in a society where you're being dehumanized, but you're not realizing it, and the reason why is they're removing things that protect you, right? Especially for minorities. So this presidency too, if we look at the man, his character, we look at what they circulating about what they're gonna do, and especially for women, we already see that how women are being oppressed, right? Women in America right now, this minute, they don't really have control of their bodies in a lot of states, right? We keep reading about these stories of young women going for abortions, dying because the hospital is bounded by law not to do it because you live in a state that is against abortion, stuff like that, right? And we have to take it from a humanistic point of view, right? Some people will say, well, wow, you're killing a baby, but suppose it's something incestuous, suppose it's something life-threatening, right? We're not talking about abortion just going out there and getting pregnant and aborting. No, we're talking about abortion when it is necessary for not only for that person's well-being or because of the situation in which it happened, right? That pregnancy itself. So we see women losing their rights as well. And we have to be mindful as minorities, right? As they call us. We are the ones who will pay the blunt of the burden, you know. Do you have, even in the last couple of years, right? They have even passed a law where you can be locked up and they don't have to read you your Miranda rights, right? So we have to consider all these things. When we see these systems changing, how does a law change with the system? How is that going to affect us? So that's why now we have to figure out how to think collectively, how we could circumvent this stuff collectively.
Bingy, you touch on the topic of abortion. I think that's a touchy topic because
Yes,
and it really need to start out. And I think the abortion thing had an effect on the polls. I think two things that people don't talk about enough: abortion and trans rights had
right.
had an impact on the polls.
Yes,
I personally think so, right?
Mhm.
Because the abortion for me is a touchy thing because you mentioned that, you know what I mean, the need what women need for abortion is not always the same. And I think we need to be at a place where you mentioned something like incest or something like complication with pregnancy.
Mhm.
So maybe there is a ground where people could say, okay, if this happened, then a woman had the choice. But still, I am always fighting for life, and I don't think anybody should just, you know what I mean, like they go and do whatever they do, get pregnant, and then the next day, whatever, 8 months time, they want an abortion. You know what I mean? I think that is also madness. But there's have to be some kind of, you know what I mean, middle ground or somewhere where women are not having abortion. I can't get myself to
No,
go with that.
you're
7 months, 8
talking
months.
about from a position, and that's what I said, right? I said not frivolously, but based on a certain condition. But
Condition,
not
yeah.
only that, even if you agree or don't agree, the woman in the place that she's allowed to do it, and the man who will reckless, right? And bear no responsibility towards themselves who have this ignorance of what they're doing, they're gonna go out and have an abortion. They're gonna get pregnant and they're gonna go out and have an abortion, whether I agree to that or not, right? So you're talking about how we view or we take something and we say, hey, there's a morality to it. But morality is something that is not a universal understanding, We think morality is this thing that is universal, like you think a certain way and next month. It doesn't happen. That it can't happen. Nature itself does not allow it to
No,
happen, right?
because
So
different, yeah.
yeah, so,
One.
so just based on that alone, what we're saying is a woman, though, a human being is supposed to be responsible for themselves 100%. Everything that concerns that being, they should be responsible. There are laws in society which we follow and function, right? But that individual is nobody should dictate that individual.
But Benji, I think that is too weird though, because once you say a woman, but you talk about a baby, I think a baby is another living human being.
Yeah, after a
While
baby.
while they're depending on their mother at that time, but is another human being.
Absolutely.
So that I think is still taking the life of another human being. I don't think that someone should just have the right to just, I don't know.
No,
I say that touch
so
it a
that's
bit.
what I'm saying. So that's
Yeah.
based on how I view things, but in reality, I'm saying in reality, even though I view things in that way, it doesn't happen in that way, right?
Not naturally.
It
I think
naturally
that,
it doesn't happen because
think-
it is against the law of nature itself, roots. Because
Yeah.
there's no description of morality for all. That's
Right.
why it doesn't exist.
Fire. I think even though this was an issue that affected the elections, I think we have got off topic a bit. And I think that we're gonna have a discussion on these issues in the future.
Yeah,
So I wanna
yeah,
see those
yeah.
reasonings for
No,
that.
but it just all plays into abortion, right?
Yeah,
Naturally.
but
Abortion as a
it
function,
have
but
a issue on the election same way.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So so we take it in that light, but
Exactly.
when I said a real discussion on that issue, I think we should say for the third class that's gonna deal with that issue.
Right.
Because that is an issue that has to be addressed and spoken about in the third class as
And we
well.
need a feed.
Aye.
For that as well. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
So we do give thanks for this moment. Do remember to like, share, and subscribe. Remember to check out the Perfect Balance TrodClass on all social media platforms. Leave a comment, get involved in the dialogue, and remember that collectively we're stronger. So organize and centralize, and let's move forward with grace and resilience and love. Thank you, Brother Okavango, Bingi, Yellow,
Give thanks for
Yaga,
life.
wherever the eye is at the moment, and whatever the eye is going through, give thanks same way. See it? Yeah, man, one perfect love, my lord. I'm yours truly, Ras Dada, and this is another Perfect Balance TrodClass. Give thanks.
Bingy, Okavango, Rasdada, Yaga, Chuck Friend of the Living Fire represent to the fullest. See? Perfect balance.